I'm Lynelle Long. I was born in Vietnam and I came to Australia as a 5-month-old baby. My white Australian parent flew to Vietnam, picked me up in the middle of the war, brought me home, and I grew up in rural Australia on a dairy farm. And life was pretty tough there because, there weren't many around me who looked like me. And Australia had just come out of the White Australia policy time. So culturally, socially, it was a pretty challenging time to grow up here. Being Asian in rural Australia, it was tough. I felt very alone. I got picked on, I got teased. And then when I'd come home to my white Australian parents and, be crying and upset, they just didn't understand. They'd tell me sticks and stones don't break you, and things like that. And it just wasn't very helpful because they didn't understand how I was experiencing it. So, we didn't have any knowledge in those days about how to equip ourselves for racism and things that were affecting us. To rebuild my identity, I've had to do a lot, actually. I've first of all, I've undone my adoption. I've discharged it. That has meant that it's like annulling a marriage. I've had to undo it, which allows me to revert back to my original birth identity. So I've been able to reclaim the information about my name, my date of birth, my mother, who I was born to, that was finally found in Vietnam as my identity documents. And that's allowed me to reclaim that and to have that truth as part of my identity documents in Australia. So up until doing that discharge, I'd never had that. It was always my adopted identity that was used to identify who I am and my name and all of that. It was important for me to choose the 3 aspects of my identity now today that I have formed over my lifetime. So my identity now is 3 parts. It's my birth name, my adopted name, and my married name, all encapsulated into my actual birth document now, which has been reissued to me. And it was really important to do that because for us, people like me who've been adopted and now not adopted, reclaiming our identity is so crucial to feel like we can have some control over who we are, not just be dictated to by decisions that were made when we were infants, when we get issued an adoptive identity that we had no say over. So really important for people who are adopted and who have had these type of life experiences to be able to reclaim the truth of who they are and who they feel, is who they are.